Hi there, this is Mrs. Piper. I would like to go over one last thing. I thought I was done with my notes, and now that I'm putting in shading, I wanted just to go over a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to zoom into this bottom box because I want to show you what you can do to make the box appear as though it is open. If this were a regular cardboard box and the top were split and the side flaps were open, I wanted to show you how to draw those flaps using one-point perspective. So let me make sure I've got everything in the frame. You need to be able to see the vanishing point and the box. Oops, that might be a little bit too far. There we go. Okay, so hopefully that'll work. I want to make sure that you understand, if this box were sealed, there would be a slit right here and it would go back to the vanishing point, right? Because that would be splitting the box along the top where the two flaps would open. But if those flaps are open, remember that they have to be parallel to one another. This back flap, the back edge of the flap, would have to be parallel to the front edge of the flap. So the first thing we want to do is we want to open this box. Do you see this corner right here where the back of the box meets the side of the box? Right here, if you take your ruler and you turn it vertically, that means it's straight up and down, it's parallel to the edge of the paper, and you draw a line straight down to the front edge of the box. Now this box appears open. Now keep in mind that the line was parallel to the edge of the paper, parallel to the picture plane. It's also parallel to the front of the box, parallel to the back of the box. Now the flap, let's say that the flap is open. We've opened up the box. So this edge of the flap has to be parallel to the back edge of the flap. So you lay your ruler down, you slide it back so that it is parallel to the front. I'm just going to use the other side of my ruler, and I'm going to draw that line. Okay? And let's say that let's go ahead and finish this first flap. So this edge is parallel to this edge, which means it is what did we call it? An orthogonal line. It's going back in space. So if it is going back in space, it has to go to the vanishing point. So I'm going to start here at the front, and I'm going to draw the line to the vanishing point. So this is one of the flaps of the cardboard box. I hope that you can kind of see that it does look open now. And let's say the other flap has been opened and folded down. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go this direction. Okay? And this back of the flap has to be parallel to the front. So again, I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to slide it back so that it remains parallel to the front. And then I'm going to take this front flap, and because it's an orthogonal line, it's going to go to the vanishing point. And because this flap now covers up the back edge of the box, we're going to erase this line. So I hope you can kind of see how the rules of perspective work, even if you're opening up a box, because for this upcoming assignment, you're going to be creating an environment and you're going to be adding your own objects to that environment, and you want a variety from which to choose. So I'm kind of showing you several. Now, you will notice that between the last video and this one, I've shaded some of my three-dimensional forms. I'm going to also show you a trick to do that. I took a piece of typing paper and I just tore it, right? So I have this piece of typing paper, and the reason I like it is because it's got a nice straight edge. So I know that if I lay my typing paper on the edge of the box and then I shade it going towards the vanishing point, you're going to notice that the line stays crisp and neat. Because a lot of perspective works because you are precise with your drawing and even with your shading. So notice now when I pick up the typing paper, look at how clean that edge is. Then when I'm doing the back of the box, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that same sheet of typing paper, I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to add the shading lines. That way, all of the lines appear to be going back in space to the vanishing point, but they're colored or shaded in a way that is much neater than if I just tried to do it by hand. Watch what happens. See how nice and neat that line is? And then for the front of the box, by the way, this was my shading pencil, my drawing pencil. For the front of the box, I'm going to use my regular number 2 pencil, and I'm just going to go straight up and down. Right? And again, I would place my typing paper in and just gently, lightly shade lighter because my number 2 pencil will be softer in value because it's actually harder in lead. The lead is harder, so it makes a softer mark. I'm going to block off this top part, and you'll notice the front of the box, I'm shading straight up and down. Why? Because I want it to be parallel to the picture plane. Those lines. The other lines that are going back in space are drawn towards the vanishing point. So now you know how to add shadow to make your forms look more three-dimensional, and you know how to add flaps to make your box look open. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you in our next video for our next assignment. Thank you.